Captain Jared Crouch back into the starting lineup after a not so wonderful affair in the Easter tournament just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, certainly a wonderful actually comeback for him, because he's actually been cold on ice for a little bit just to get his fire burning a bit, because it's going to be needed to actually muscle through this flying force that he's going to be facing from Impies, which are slightly about 60k less. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, this UKZN side captained by Johan Maritz in the scrum half position. And this is what the benches will look like. Interesting players in the form of Sibulelo Nanto for College Rovers. A man they call Blaze. Look out for him. There's every opportunity for him to get out onto the park this afternoon. And as you see the men in white from UKZN running out onto the field now. They're coming off a loss by 36-5 to Durban Collegians just a week ago. That was their very first match in the Moore Cup this year. In stark contrast, College Rovers, they've had an up and down affair. They opened up with a 21-17 loss to newly promoted Westville Old Boys in the first round. And the men in blue, just a week ago, Lawrence Apaka, 94-5 winners in round 2 over Richards Bay.
I think Richards Bay just got the wrong end of the stick after that disappointment start that they got from the newbies. It's just a wake-up call, and they wanted to show to the coach that they actually certainly awake and are well and truly awake, but we'll see how awake they are a second week running.
You've had a look particularly at the forward packs that will be vying against one another here today, as we have a look at the big men of College Rovers against the big men of the opponents UKZN today. Can we establish anything in terms of whether there's dominance on paper by at least one of these two sides up front?
Well, certainly there's dominance in numbers and 60 kilogram. That's the difference between these two. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the technique, how well you apply yourself and actually put yourself to good use. Because you can be big, but with no technique, you can be taken to task by a much, much smaller opponent. So it's very careful that you actually do those things correctly, whatever you do.
Yeah, we just saw a shot there of Roger Zondi, one of the biggest men on the park this afternoon, just a short while ago. 1.8 meters, 130 kilograms, and he'll be bearing down in that pack for College Rovers today. The man in charge of the match is Blake Beattie, and he gets matters underway. It is UKZN through Ngebo Dintsi will get matters underway. Alexander coming through there to take the ball. And I thought perhaps there was a bit of a knock forward there. Really good run through the middle of the park there by the men from College Rovers. Little bit of a knock on there by Gerardo Jars, but they keep it in hand. Daniel Bowato gets it out wide. Lovely space. And have a look at this. Early days, beautiful step on the inside and a score under the poles there for Duran Kramek. And what a dramatic way for this match to get underway. College Rovers getting away with a try in the first minute of the game.
Yeah, certainly well orchestrated try. I mean, what you saw that looked like a knock, if it was a knock, would have definitely been a scrum for College Rovers in the middle, because that ball never traveled 10 meters with that start of that match. But lucky for them, got correlated and actually did put it to good use. I mean, this poor man popping up on the left-hand side. I mean, he's supposed to be a right winger, but he's running on the left, unless he knew what was coming, but that certainly did help.
Duran Kramek, man who was born in Umhlanga, was part of Ireland's Sevens HSBC World 7 Series side at one stage. Inikadebe looking to add just the extra 2 points there. So 7-0 the lead in the space of a minute. What a start we've had here between these two sides.
Yeah, certainly indeed. I mean, that's a shock starter for the Impies. I'm sure that's not a starter we're actually looking to get. But is anything go by? They need to fix their kickoff first, and maybe we'll start going from there and see how they go about it.
A little bit deeper this time from Dintsi, but it's still controlled by College Rovers. Jared Crouch, the captain there, just counter-rucking very nicely. Lovely little step on the inside here again. And it's Jason Alexander there. Does well, but that was just unnecessary. But he'll get away with it because it was advantage to them in any case.
No, I think that is a penalty because the ball was not out and it came from the side. He clearly saw something different there.
Tikuana Magunji.
And basically they saw some spook. We're going to call it spooker, because he thought the ball was out and the ball was not out. and then a penalty, see, exactly from the same spot. That gives UKZN just an opportunity to work on his technical kicking.
Got to say, we were together for the first day of the Easter tournament up in Pretoria just a couple of weeks ago. UKZN in the most challenging conditions. Just looked like he had so much time. Played some sexy rugby with the boot. Nice little kicks through. Lovely little layoffs. Beautiful passes. But the conditions did not allow for him to really shine. As we see Alexander going to the back of the line out here. His men will regroup. They've got front foot ball here. But we see it so often now. The obstruction there from that drive. And the MPs are on the front foot. It's gone back there off the hands of Captain Johan Maritz. But it's in the possession now of Pico Sobatle. Oh, and he gets a bump off of his man. Once again, really good possession. Gerardo Jars in UKZN. These are the kind of kicks we're talking about. Beautifully into space. Can they run onto it? They do indeed. What a kick. What a finish. 2 tries in 4 minutes. My goodness, what a start it has been.
You did mention sexy. That certainly did look sexy, calm, collected. I mean, if you're used to playing in bad conditions, these conditions are absolutely peachy, and certainly used it to good effect. And we know one of the most talented rugby players in South Africa that most of the time was overlooked in a lot of positions. We saw from Varsity Shield days when he came to light, and that with sparks and actually gave us, I mean, he's a fly who can tackle, who can kick, who can run. We haven't seen him run yet. He's just showing off his other skills at the moment, and those skills are being paying off currently, and now just adding on to that. I don't want to curse him, but I think this is a formality.
Yeah, I'm going to say nothing about the kick. What I am going to say is you can just see quality by how much time they have on the ball every time they are in possession. This man certainly, had it not been for that injury in 2016, which set a fledgling career back, could be looking at one of the finest in South Africa. Doesn't matter if you curse him or not, it's 2 points added, Lawrence Apaka. And suddenly we have a double-digit lead within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, this crowd look like they're not seen anything yet. I mean, we've got 14 points on the board already, guys. Look a bit excited. Maybe they want more. Maybe Intbines should just give him some more sparks. Maybe when he starts running and he starts running people out of the... I was looking at the left winger running like Spoon Kosi there. Similar hairstyles as well.
Diebo Dinsi once again with a restart. Nice take there by Daniel Bawato. Jason Alexander, though, okay, is full of running. He gets good front foot ball. Gerardo Jars now to UKZN. He's gone across the field here, nicely into the pocket. And even if it doesn't go out the side, he's driven this impy side back deep into their own half. That's good defense. 8th man, Sikolile Sokela, caught in possession. Exit strategy with the line out will mean plenty of ground gained by that play from College Rovers.
Yeah, no, certainly. I mean, that was another class act from the fly of UKZN. But number 8, they're trying to show his array of skills there. Clearly, one of them seems to be running, but I think he was in the wrong position to try that also. So Keller there, I mean, probably one of the heaviest guys in the pack as well at 108 kilograms. I'm sure some of those locks might borrow some kilos there to work on the engine room a bit.
George thought he had the field opening up to him, but referee Beatty saw an infringement. Yeah, Soksokela, a man who was born in Newcastle. He's a teacher at Maritzburg College these days, but he's come through the ranks of the UJ side when he still lived up in Johannesburg. Glenwood High School educated. Played for the Lions in the Grand Como week as well, all the way back in 2010. So there's plenty of experience on both sides of the field. This College Rovers side just beginning to smart from that opening day loss, as we said in the Moore Cup this year, 21-17 down to newly promoted Westville Old Boys. Not the way you want to start your campaign, but they've been building steadily since then.
Yeah, I certainly agree with you there. I mean, it's not how you start, but sometimes how you end. But it is in terms of working on those blocks, those progression blocks, making sure that they're getting themselves sorted. I mean, the captain, they might be in trouble. Jared Krause, the way he hinged there in that first engagement, if he does it again, I'm certain the referee is going to give him a penalty, because he can keep up these bindings facing downwards, but he's going forward, which is a positive side. But the tight edge has held his ground. It's like, I'm not going anywhere. Gentlemen, keep on trying. Keegan Anderson did very well.
Flat pass out of defense. Can it find the hand of an impy? Does indeed, but it's a back foot ball here for them. And already the referee's seen a knock on. It's advantage in favor of Rovers. They're marauding up the field. A lovely pass there by Msuli Mwango. Out wide to Fanele Zwane. And I'm afraid the advantage has been turned into possession now for the Impies, who badly need this. They need to get back into this game.
Yeah, I think the only mistake Zwane made there, instead of recoiling, he tried to sit up and actually made it easy for the tight end to just get over. It actually made it even better. He didn't have to go that low. He just wanted to be sure and actually grab the ball. And as the first player arrived there, he actually had all the rights. The cleaners were not there. The man, that kind of recall that he was trying to do, he needed to stay on the ground and actually stretch himself to back off in his own side. But an opportunity there for the Impies to do something with the lineup, which first one went badly.
Sibuyile Kubule with the throw that has gone horribly wrong. It's his first throw into the line out for the hooker from the Impies, a man born in Swaziland, and Manguzi. And has come through the ranks of the under-20 Midland side in KZN. You could see that was just crooked, completely crooked. Gareth Breedenham from the opposite side. Locked for College Rovers. Couldn't believe his luck.
Yeah, a few things went wrong there. The throw was skew, and the jumper also went across, and they could have been pinned for two things. But let's see what College Rovers does with this ball. They're under pressure on the target side, but they get the ball out.
Start on.
Khadebe with another kick into that right side pocket. Beautiful. One bounce and over the line. Oh my goodness, he's in form today.
No, certainly plays like he knows his ground like the back of his hand, because he didn't have to think twice about that one when that ball came. He said, listen, let me do something about this, because these guys' tails are coming up. I need to keep them down as low as possible.
Now, I feel Sibuyile Kabule, who's just thrown in skew, got penalized for it, and now you've got a must-get throw 7-8 meters from your try line. Let's see how he does. Loses it from the line out again. And Rovers are attacking the try line here. Jars has the back line going. Lovely little switch to the left here. It is the player isolated. Will the support be there in time? It is indeed. Jars keeps them going. Jason Alexander, he loves running. He takes it up a meter or two. Khadebe now with a skip pass. A little bit of a toughie there for Ryan Muller. They set it up once more from Daniel Bawoto to Fanele Zwane. Jarsy's looking at the line. He wants the line. He gets the line. 3 tries for College Rovers in little to no time whatsoever.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, a scrum half is as sharp as him. When he sees forwards taking advantages like that, basically taking advantage and moving it, defense is scrambling. You can see who the kind of guys were scrambling as well. It's a big man. He's like, listen, I'm going to just snake my way around these guys. I should be able to get them because no one is running onto him. They're actually trying to find a way back on the onside side when obviously the captain, and like, listen, the little scrum, I was like, no. I'm going to actually take this one and make sure I actually push on the scoreboard as it goes. Because remember, he's been passing the whole time. So he hasn't really been sniffing. But when the defense has been turned like that, great opportunity for scrum half to snuff.
Khadebe makes it 3 from 3 on the afternoon. So far, just conversions to round off 3 beautiful tries scored here by College Rovers. They've hit this game like a house on fire. It's 21-0. And we're still just outside of the first 10 minutes of this half. Now, the Impies of UKZN, unchanged starting 15 for today, but there have been a couple of changes on the bench for them, forced as a result of a case of food poisoning. I'm not too sure about the state of health of the starting lineup, but at the moment it doesn't look good.
No, waist. On the ball. No, hands. 3. Hands on the rock.
Too many hands in the rack there. I think the Impies actually won and were fair and square. College Rovers were trying to get it back, desperate actually, because they didn't actually get that ball to be able to exit. I mean, this tight head has actually done it a couple of times. Keegan Anderson and now even his fellow hooker actually had a sniff as well and actually came up with the goods. So they're really good on the ground.
Speaking of sniff, nickname of Angry Pig. It's Keegan Anderson, man who was born not too far away from the college that is home to UKZN. Maritzburg local, went to Maritzburg College as well. Sports coach by profession.
I can certainly tell you that this guy certainly doesn't play around in that dirty stuff around the rack. When you actually don't protect your ball, you don't keep it clean, it's definitely there to take something out of that. So that's one thing the College Rovers need to clean up, is to secure that basic racking ball that they have. They've got plenty of it, but if you don't protect it, it becomes scarce, as well as as they might have thought. They actually have got a lot of ball.
Yeah, but Dintsy with a chance to add the first points for UKZN, and oh goodness, it's gone a begging.
Yeah, Dinsy's kicking needs like a serious microwave. Currently, I mean, it started with a very terrible kickoff that didn't actually work against him, and the second one is slightly over the line. Third one went a bit further, so I think he needs a bit of warm-up when it comes to place kicking as well. So these guys must actually steal a lot of balls so he can get that going, because I think it's one of the ways he can actually make sure the scoreboard keeps on ticking.
Kadebe with a dropout deep into that left-hand side pocket again. Now on the attack. Can he hold on to the ball? No, he doesn't. It's off the hands there. And advantage from the knock-on. Was carried up there by Gareth Bredenan.
Advantage over.
Heard the referee say there, so they've got to use it nicely. Yeah. Decent defense, but it's still breaching the advantage line. Jars feeds Khadebe. Chooses to run this time. Lovely little skip pass, but perhaps just too ambitious. They still have control of the ball here. Was there a foot in touch? Yeah, the referee's assistant says so.
Yeah, and I said when he starts running like that, you need people running with him at the same time. So when the fly runs, like, you need people running short back at him just in case he needs to pass to someone. Now he had to go look for someone to pass, which is unfortunate. The only guy who could pick up was far wide, and actually, unfortunately, the ball hit the ground. You know that when that happens, it can go anywhere.
2 throws gone astray from Kabule this afternoon. What will he do with his third one? Contested again. Advantage to Rovers from the knock-on. They'll run it from deep in their territory, though. Ball swung nicely. Lovely little kick over the top, and can he pick it up? Yes, indeed. So Shane Ball, the fullback, did really well there. Khadebe skips a man, and now it's a lovely pass on the outside there by Pico Sobatle. Captain Jared Crouch did well to offload as well. He carries now. Still controlling the ball is Rovers through Jars. Ini Khadebe with a lovely little drop inside there. Lovely rugby, beautiful play into the hands of Ryan Muller. And it looks like Sian Madunau's come through to score the 4th try of the half. It looks like one from the training ground.
No, certainly that was one from the fly-off. But Jason obviously exploiting the space around the rack area, bringing the force in and bringing everyone close. I think it's the number 8.
Mesuli Mwango,
who actually got in there because he ran a perfect line for the center as well, because the inside center came in there and assisted Ini Khadebe and made his passing easy, and then the 8-man actually did exactly the same thing, coming to the ball carrier. Not that the ball carrier must look for him, he actually didn't even look for him. We didn't know he was there. He just got it behind the defender and left it in space, and that was a beautiful try indeed.
Khadebe 4 from 4. And this is turning into an absolute rout. Hearing referee Blake Beattie saying that let's just have a look at the injury, and it is the man from Karoi in Zimbabwe, Tichaona Magunchi, who's receiving a bit of treatment for UKZN. How do they fight their way back into this game?
No, listen, they must stop fighting. They must start first of all try to keep the ball, because you can't fight something with no weapons at all, and the only weapon they need now is the ball. I think they're all trying to play loose, but when you play loose, you gotta make sure you keep the ball alive. Don't create drugs. Move this big pack around.
Possession grab by Rovers. They're on the move once more. Now it is that man, Masuli Mwango. Try scorer, carries nicely. Jared Crouch with a weird pass, but UKZN controls it beautifully. And now it's been stripped away.
Plays on the mark.
They tap quickly through Kolela Daniels. Lovely run through there. Right off the hands of the fly off Diebo Dinsi. He's not having the greatest of afternoons.
No, listen, I mean, this outside center, Kolela Daniels, did an absolute picture of an all offload to the lock, and unfortunately, Niam Konazi, they're actually not reciprocating that. Basically throwing it to nobody. He needed to get it to the hands of the fly-off. Wasn't actually support, but actually impeded by the two blue jerseys that were in traffic. So the best thing to do was to make sure he just keeps the ball, create a ruck, and then try again. Because that's how they're trying to play. It's working, but you need to have people running to the ball instead of away from the ball.
Well, they are a side who pride themselves historically as one where there's fine interplay between the forwards and especially the loosies and the backline players. They just haven't set up the base for that as yet today. And once again, flawless boot of UKZN this afternoon takes play over the halfway line here.
The only people that are smiling now to the next line out is everyone in wearing a blue jersey from 1 to 8 currently, because everything, they look up, they're going forward. The one in white is like, where are we going again? You know, when you get kicked out of the game, at this moment, the forwards, MP forwards have been played out of the game by UKZN.
I was going to say now, how many times have you played in matches where your whole team is playing with a smile on the face, and it just seems like spiteful in the face of the opposition, or perhaps the opposition have played against you with that smile?
Now, certainly the guys from Pretoria did that a lot of times. Remember, they pride themselves in terms of kicking. And you see another fourth line out against us astray. And remember the previous one, it was not a hooker's fault. He went through the hands of the lock. Literally couldn't grab the thing, like cross hands, as if he was not expecting a ball is coming. And now at this point in time, the scrums are actually solid. It's a pity that the line-out is not working out.
Yeah, the difficulty with the line-outs here is even when Kobule has been able to get it in the right areas, the Rovers side are contesting very well in the line-outs as well for the ball. They've stripped away 2 already. So we see, now that was just an errant throw. That was to nobody in white.
Lucky the hooker, Jason Alexander, not unable to hold on. Let's see whether number 8 can hold on better.
Knife through butter, to use the cliche. And is that man with 2 tries? Can he make it 3? It's an ambitious pass into the outside by Duran Kramek. And they keep it alive. Pico Sobahle will get over the line.
It's a right winger wearing a number 11 that looks like a similar sporting hairstyle like Spoon Kosem, and I'm sure must be his idol currently. But he's a powerful looking player as well. He likes to mix it up, a bit of loose running, a bit of tight, and obviously just taking a bit of scraps from the offloading from the fullback, which is work well done. I mean, you can take it from the number 8 as well, who did a brilliant break of the line and then offloaded to the winger who started the whole transition of scoring tries. Right winger popping up in the middle in the centers this time and actually enabled them to keep on breaking, and they did actually absolutely well not to die with the ball. The fullback actually just shot of the try line.
You want to place the curse on him this time, maybe? Just stop him in his tracks, because he has been immaculate this afternoon in UKZN.
At this point, I can even put a cross around him, over him, through him. At this point, it wouldn't make a difference. The kind of confidence is oozing through him now is actually incredible. This should be right because he's on the right foot as well.
Beautiful strike, easy as you like. Flags up, 2 points added. Oh, the danger signs for the UKZN impies here. You saw Pico Sobahle, a man who's always looking for work on the park, muscles his way over the line, taking 2 defenders with him. Interesting thing about winger Pico Sobahle, hails from Kokstad, but the interesting thing is he's a joint owner of an online sneaker store.
Oh, he's a trendy man too.
Now we need to go and meet with him in KZN sometime.
We need to have a 1-2 nyana there.
Taken beautifully again and popped on the inside there for Bredenan.
Unfortunately, it went forward, gentlemen.
Yeah, referee saying that pass to Bredenan has gone forward. So respite here for the Impies.
Longo didn't believe that, but he felt that was absolutely in control. Left the ball behind him. I mean, these fours were starting to experiencing some a different game plan, and this is not what they played during the week. Now to be coming so easily, I mean the big men starting to mix it up. I mean a bit like, remember when look at that beautiful take from the kickoff, the offload, that is backwards. Unfortunately the ref didn't see that way. Look at the lock forwards as well, just loosening up the game. They were just getting ready to change gears.
Die assistent was in 'n goeie posisie om te sien. Sy vlag was nie omhoog gehou nie. Die bal is nie ingesit nie, hulle het te vroeg gegaan op die skrim daar. So nou het die Impies 'n kans om iets te doen met 'n bietjie besit, want hulle het maar bitter min gehad in die eerste helfte hier. 35 punte reeds teen hulle aangeteken. Dis goeie werk daar deur Tikoane Magunji. Hy aangees vorentoe, heel wat vorentoe. My liewe aarde.
This is what they call them Kotus. It was really sent from here, Durban straight to Eastern Cape. Via Bulawayo Express. That was too obvious. Obviously trying to express a bit of skill and well. Unlucky.
Hoe dink jy dat jy dit weggensteek van die skeieregter? Dit weet ek nie. Hy was so blaatant geweest.
No, certainly not. He thinks maybe the Flames sometimes do the 1 and 2s. Damage switch pop. We wanted to do that kind of move, but he let it go too early. And that was a clear forward pass. But let's see if College Rovers are going to have a better scrum at this point. Get a right shoulder, because they haven't had one. They've had more straight, flat most of the time, but they actually can work with it too.
Inigadebe met die aangee hier aan Ryan Miller. Hy word grond toe gevat. Beter verdediging hier deur die Impies. Lieflike skoppie net hier agter in die verdediging. Hoe gaan hierdie bal wip? In guns van die Rovers. Ongelukkig was hy bal net bietjie vorentoe, maar wat 'n fantastiese skop weer hier deur. Hy speel net uitmuntend in die Gadebe vandag.
Just a class of his own. I mean, there's no one here who's keeping up with him. He's got all sorts of tricks up his sleeve, and that kick, I mean, was a beautiful take. How did he go forward when he's facing the other way?
Ja, maar kyk wie was daar. Pico Sobahle. Hy man, hy werk vir jou hard op die veld.
No, certainly he is putting in the effort as well. He's ready to actually pounce as well. But sometimes what makes a kick good as well is actually the chaser, who's actually making it look like it was actually meant to do that. But that was a brilliant kick, nevertheless.
Mens kan dink die momentum met daai bal bietjie vorentoe gevat met die aangee. Dis 'n goeie laagvat. En nou is daar druk reg op die doellyn hier van die Impies. Kaptein Johan Marits wat skop, maar hy kry hom die veld uit nie. En nou word dan nou weer eens aangeval. Lieflike stappe hier deur Sean Maduna. Hy vat hom binne die 22 gebied. Jars en Inigadebe. Jason Alexander nou die haker met die bal. Hy man is van sy voete af. Dit sal voordeel wees. Weer eens 'n lieflike deftige skoppie hier. Hoekie toe is hy in die veld. Neergebring is dit nog 'n 3. My liewe aarde, as dit die geval is dit net weer eens 'n fantastiese skop. En is hy man, Mesuli Mwango. 8ste man hier vir Rovers. En die 3 staan.
Ja, die 3 staan definitief van man. Inigadebe is besig om 'n gitaar te speel hier, en hy maak baie mooi musiek op die oomblik. Die voorrye, die agterspelers, almal geniet hulle self van hulle kry die bal vroeg. Hulle kry die bal, jy weet hulle kry signal. So worry, ek stuur iets vir jou, verwag iets. So almal is net wakker op die oomblik. I mean, dis nie die 8ste man hierdie keer. Maar remember 8ste man het 'n paar geleenthede van hom gekry. Is die toekant flank, die groot nommer 7. Fanele Zwane that basically got that one and actually did it like a pro, because I mean and that's the winger normally is gewoond aan hy seker fancy skopper, maar dit eintlik mooi gehanteer op oomblikke en vir Inigadebe dat goed lyk. Anders ek nie so bietjie vir hom later gesê, hoorie papa, moenie my volle mors asseblief.
Seker die mees uitdagende skop vir Inigadebe vanmiddag wat al reeds 'n perfekte rekord het. 1 2 3 4 5 nou sy 6de. Vir 4. En is die eerste een wat hy miskop. Nou 'n bietjie van 'n vloek op hom gesit daar.
Nee, die moes het nie gesê het nie. Hy was op die lyn gewees, letterlik op die lyn, because hy 3 was in die hoekie gedruk, was as hy nie gevlieg het nie. Hy sou net die 3 gedruk het, want hy moes like a swan dive, and actually let his body go out of the line and his hands stay inside, and controlled it marvelously. Let's see if this man is kicking boot is actually warmed up, because he's done quite a lot of kickoffs now, and it certainly has. Look at that beautiful high kick that is starting with, making it a contestable.
Dis die eerste keer wat hulle besit behou van die afskop. In die middel van die veld is 'n goeie posisie, maar Rits wat aangehuur aan Diensie. Diensie soek die skoppie deur, maar as niemand om by hom aan te sluit nie. En dan gee jy nou ongelukkig die besit weg. Shane Ball wat dra. En hy het Daniel Bowoto saam met hom. Nou word hy weer wyd gegooi. Fantasties deur Ryan Miller gedoen. Pico Sobahle wat sy man omstamp daar. Maar in die proses het hy 'n voet buite die veld gesit. Lyk dit ten minste, ja.
No, this man, I think him and Smooth must have a couple of cold drinks nyana, because I thought I was seeing Smooth reincarnation here, because of power play, and he had a good step before that. I thought Chip and Chase, it was not even in his notebook, that one. He just wanted to run over someone. I mean, look at this beautiful rugby that the college Rovers are giving us here, playing in their own half. That's a confidence they get from that scoreboard at the moment.
Weer eens afgevat in die lyn staan. Is die haker Jason Alexander wat wegkom van sy man af. Die ondersteuning is daar. En hier kom die 7-3. Ek is amper seker was druk op die bal geplaas oor die lyn. Nee, skeieregter blyk BT sê dit is nie die geval nie.
Ja, en is ongelukkig daar, want hy het net gestretch. Sy arm was net nie lang genoeg nie. Een val, jy mag place. Oh, that looks like a try.
Van my was daar druk op die bal op die lyn gewees. En is nie 'n tweede beweging, hier is alles in een momentum.
Ek dink die lynregter aan hierdie kant wat hy gesien van hy hop van hy bal, het hy gevoel nie, het was 'n knock-on. Maar dit is eintlik ongelukkig, maar hulle het 'n geleentheid. Sy skram onder die bal, ek dink is 'n skram wat die impies wil nie reg doen nie. Want dit is 'n moeilike en hulle moet net bietjie patience wees. Die college Rovers hier hit, waar vir die bal toe kom en gooi hy second shove. En dis wat exactly wat hulle gaan doen, maar die bal moet stak.
Dankie vader, hy bal is gou uit. Ini Gadebe hier grond toe gevel deur die groot man in die voorry. Het goed gedoen na hy skram. My liewe Aar, die bal was beskikbaar gewees, gaan Rovers om afvat hier. Lyk of hulle dit gaan doen deur Bredenand. Nee. Hulle bou besit. Nou kom hy hier deur die haker, Kobile. Kans om by te dra tot die span se vertoning vandag. Diensie met so 'n woerwoerskop wat hier spel na die 22 meter stippellyn toe neem. En kyk net die telling, 40-0. Nou bly net so rapsie onder 10 minute oor in die eerste helfte.
Impies meziphuma kuJune and July kunzima pha kuchisa kweza pal zabo. First of all, channel 1 yaphuma kamnandi. Number 8 does what it does best. Sokela, and it did it very nicely. Actually wathola advantage from that scrum. Unfortunately zange bayigade until Iraq got disrupted, so he had to find another position to get that ball, but he get did it again.
None. Thank you.
This may be the first 5-minute period where Rovers have not scored in this entire match, but have a look at that flat ball at pace. And Pico Sobahle now looking to round his man, which he does with absolute ease. Try number 7.
Remember last time he says my bus is full, but now actually I wanted to show you my number, and exactly the number did he see 1-2 in and out, and he's showing this array of skill that he has. He's actually the power game and the speed game, so his opposite number really needs to watch, because it's gonna get rough. He's not gonna get his Ngumalo there. Needs to be wide awake. I mean, especially and Zamogutlo Zulu, because these wingers have switched. I don't know if they switched on purpose, but by accident. Let's see. That's an easy one.
Ini Gadebe rounding off yet another try. He's only missed one conversion today, so he's got a record of 6 from 7 this afternoon. And they've been playing such beautiful flowing rugby that as soon as they've been in the half of Maritzburg, they've converted the territory, the possession, into tries. There's been no need, or has been no need this afternoon, for Rovers to go for any penalties.
No, certainly not. But that usually happens if that your basics are in place, your tight forwards are laying the foundation, and then the backs can command how they direct this whole ship. And the general, I thought it was off white. I don't know how the white was allowed to throw that ball in. But like, let's give a ref a chance. Maybe he wants the Impies to get in the game as quickly as they can as well.
Yeah, remember those days in primary school rugby where at the end of the first half, where the score is just ridiculous, they just mix up the sides for the second half so everybody can have a bit of fun. We're not there yet. That's a nice carry there by Gakula Poswa. Captain Maritz to 8th man Sikulile Sokela.
The big man there, O'Keegan, taking a bit of a first receiver. Does a good job as well. A dummy, go himself, and the number 8 getting back involved. Sokela and then bringing the foot in. Unfortunately, the penalty for something else, for offside or something, that previous ruck, the ref is giving, yeah, certainly offside. But it just shows you, it doesn't matter what the scoreboard is saying, if you apply yourself correctly and actually do a bit of hard work. I mean, that's Struck and Trailer. There's a player in front of him that he couldn't move away, and he was trying to get over there. The ref can't allow that one to happen.
Inspirational story around Tikaone Magunchi. Oldest man on the park at 31 years of age in an otherwise young side for UKZN. Hails from Karoi, Zimbabwe, but he's currently still studying his bachelor's in education.
No, certainly a man who loves his books, and that's why he's taking his time as well. And while he's doing that, let's make sure that he has fun, enjoys a bit of rugby as well in the process. I mean, the club scene does allow that. Maybe played for Varsity Shield as well in his younger days. Oh, no, maybe it was not even there in his younger days. But that never been said. He's got an opportunity to play now and enjoy himself. And I think trying to give his little bit as well in commitment when it comes to the Impies, because they certainly need it.
Closest to a try that the Impies have been this afternoon, but that's been lost forward. They still have an advantage though. And it's Dincy who will bring it back and look to set up an attack on the line. He's a little bit isolated though. It's a good run, but now in the process, I'm afraid he's isolated himself there, and turnover. Rovers aren't going to wait. It's Gerardo Yarts. It's the big winger. Oh, what a lovely tackle that is by Ngobani Ngumalo. But it's still in the hands of Rovers. Who else but Piko Sobatle? He finds his man on the outside.
Talking about people shooting out of the hips. The fly, first of all, takes a quick tap where everyone is expecting a kick to the line from the Impies. And as number 9 like, listen, these guys are tired. They just were chasing leather the whole time. Let me take a quick sniff. And he actually did take a beautiful one, because there was no backline defender, but both wingers were cross-defending on him. They were the only ones that were back to cover there, and they certainly tried to keep it alive. Unfortunately, support play was not in place. I mean, we know the flyer there on the right-hand side. The left winger actually tried by all his best and bringing the number 8. Can see they're also taking big ones, because remember, they were expecting a tight control game that they were going to enforce to play their own way, but now suddenly the game has become loose. Now they must keep up with that.
So number 14 for UKZN, Ngobani Ngumalo. He is on the stat sheet as 1.78 and 77 kilograms. I think just the 2 thighs would weigh 77 kilograms. He is a big brute of a man.
I'm sure those are the stats before he hit the gym. But the gym did he hit, certainly. I mean, to look like they're 70s, I don't believe that. No, certainly it does look like a one powerful house. I mean, both wingers are in opposite directions. They're really a well-built, well-oiled machine that actually run at a speed of light.
Will the line out be under pressure once again? It is indeed, and it's stripped again. Kobule, I'm afraid it's been the weak link for the Impies this afternoon, one of them at least. That's a good tackle in the middle of the park, but quick possession here through Jars, who hands it off to the big man, Roger Zondi. He loses it forward though, picked up nicely by Sinamava Ntsinde.
Yeah, and I think that play got stopped because you see that missile flying through. You're not allowed to dive into that racket away. But obviously the referee says you stepped away because he had nothing to hold on to when he came with intent to make a decent clean. But it will certainly, because it's illegal as well to fly like that, will go to the first infringement, which I think they would have rather let that ball go there. But their channel one has been working well. I mean, the hooker there has been doing well. Kambule basically has been controlling that ball, that put of his. One thing that certainly him and the scrum half are having a nice conversation there. When the ball comes in, hits the boot and goes straight to number 8. When they Rovers, I think still they're scrumming, the ball is long gone, and they think the blindside flanker needs to be much awake this time.
Look at the shove. Look at the shove, yeah. They get it out by the skin of their teeth to the Lawrence Parker. That's a lovely run from the defensive area there by Gakula Poswa. Floundering, I'm afraid. Just too much pressure on them.
Yeah, certainly that was an attempted good steal, but I think when you're trying to gather it and bring it back to his own side, he just went the opposite direction. Look at this, obviously, interplay. Unfortunately for the big man, that's way too low to go, especially when you just can't carnival oven where you're burning 100 degrees to be catching ball that low.
I'm going to say nothing about the big men and the ball skills. I'll leave it to you to explain that, Lawrence Parker.
Now listen, the scrum has really been under pressure, but I think the Impies are controlling it very well. Channel 1, but now they're in trouble if this ball doesn't come out. But unfortunately, the Rovers did it wrong this time. They tried to run around instead of going through. And the ball, for the first time, it gets stuck in the middle. They decided to run around because I think they were tired of not coming through. They're not getting any dividends out of that. But I think Impies get to live a sigh of relief.
Right now, we'll just find the man with the biggest boot in the side. If they're anywhere within striking distance with a penalty, just try and get points on the board to prove that you can. 47 unanswered points with seconds left in the first half.
Yeah, College Rovers really outsprinting the clock itself here at the moment. We have assumed they were trying to keep up with the clock, but at this point in time, they're competition on their own. That ball is skew again.
Come now, surely. Referee seen it. We hear the call there. Oh, shame. If you're having a torrid day, there really is nothing you can do.
No, certainly not, man. They're talking about now a guy who's going to make a decision, executive decision when it comes to this. Jason Oliphant, the man who's highly qualified, who really understand the dynamics of coaching. And there's one point I really want to see him really improve on, to really improve these efforts of these boys that are putting here on the UKZN at the moment. He needs to change the hooker and put another one. I don't know if the other one on the bench is actually worse than the one starting Bongani Kosa. If he's worse than the starting hooker, then he's got problems. If he doesn't do that, it means that I think the starting hooker is better positioned. But the scrummaging has been good, though. That's a positive side.
It's just the defense that has been porous. The instant there's a chance to attack the advantage line, it is breached. We see this again here. Lovely carry there by Muller Inichadebe out wide now. Shane Ball joining the line of attack.
No, you missed it.
Gerardo Jars as captain. Crouch with him. Quick release there to Bredenham. Sexy hands there from the big man to Jonathan Dayton. Inches away now. Cleaned out, but what do we make of that clean out there? Still advantage to the men in blue.
It's just basically the onslaught is basically at the moment the Impies can't keep up, because now you got to worry about a big truck coming out in front of you. What is that? Cross kick
Try.
Whoa,
My goodness.
Inichadebe, what are you doing to the Impies? I think these guys won't have any confidence left by the time they finish with this game.
And it should be a hat-trick as well to Durant Kramek, who was in the right position there to read his fly off, to get into the position there. It has flummoxed all of us.
No, certainly we're expecting a quicker run. They're so close to the line, and these guys had basically pulled a rabbit out of their head, and that rabbit happens to be a pure gold in terms of that. That was good.
Yeah, that caught everybody off guard, and now Inichadebe has a chance to put over another two-pointer. all his points today have been in the form of conversions. He's got 7 of them already. Can he make it number 8? Take his tally to 16 points. Get his side a half a century. It's not going to curl in enough. Or will it? No. Oh, flags up. It's gone through. 2 points added. And a one-sided affair, at least in the first half, comes to an end. And spare a thought for UKZN, because they are down 54 zip at the end of the first 40. It's been all college Rovers in the first half with 8 tries to none, Lawrence Apaka.
Listen, this is an onslaught of some proportion, and Inichadem is just running the puppet master. Look at that. I mean, 10-3. College Rovers, actually the scoreboard reflects exactly that. And when you look at that territory on this side, this guy doesn't know what the College Rovers side look like.
Well, a week ago it was Rovers who beat Richards Bay 94-5. We wondered how. If you've watched this first half of against UKZN, you know how. Looking forward to a fantastic second 40 minutes here of Heritage Rugby coming to you from the Moore Cup in KZN.
I'll declare the show open.
Fridays on SABC2.
You have to go and visit Bruce Lee's grave. You have to go past, and just give him a young, Chinese chop the tombstone.
I can't believe it.
Laughs are quick.
Melanie, is it Dubois or Dubois?
It's Dubois, friend.
It's Dubois?
Yes.
Because I knew the S was silent, but I didn't know if the boy was going up or down. So it's Dubois.
And to the point of order.
Tuck shops in Somalia, ma'am, they ban them. That's why they're here now. Just giving us the overflow of tuck shops.
There's no winning team on this one, sadly.
Point of Order, Fridays 7:30.
Wat's die okasie is 'n splinternuwe skitterblink reeks op SABC2 wat partytjies hou vir ons land se nommer 1 persoonlikhede met die hulp van 'n span kundiges.
So lekker om 'n nuwe program te hê. Wat's die okasie?
Jy wil nie hierdie mis nie. Welkom.
Ja, tjie, soos al die B-stryd van die dal af, meisie.
Ons is nou amper reg die show, maar kan nie vir julle enigiets meer wys nie. Let's go.
Ag, hierdie dress-up partytjie val so reg in my kraal, is om myself in drag te sit.
Weens die pandemie kry ek en my man Ashley uiteindelik die kans om ons troue te vier.
These special days is the opportunity to really just say thank you.
Ek kan nie my dogter op die dag sonder haar voorstel nie.
Definitief vandag vir my 'n highlight was om my maandpa hierso te sien.
Dit is tyd om ons land se mense te vier, mooi te maak en te kuier saam met ons familie en vriende. Kyk, wat's die okasie? Elke Dinsdag aand om 7:00 op SABC2.
Welcome to beautiful Melrose in Johannesburg, South Africa, where we're here at the launch of the Curling Championship match, an exciting, innovative tournament that is where 7 unions, the rugby unions, get together with the players that you get to select as your favorite to form one championship team. So it's exciting because you, the fan, have the power in your hands.
Carling Black Label is giving rugby fans in Mzansi an opportunity to choose a champion team, which will play in an exhibition match against an Italian side on the 2nd of July in Gqeberha.
I think firstly we must thank Carling for the sponsorship. We cannot do these things without corporate partners, and we thank them for that. The brand has been, and their company has been associated with rugby since Unity, and they've been long associated with rugby, and they do wonderful things for rugby. But again, this gives us an opportunity to showcase the talent we have in our country. When you pick a Springbok team, you can only pick so many players. And there's so many budding talent out there in South African rugby that are knocking on the door, and this gives them an opportunity to showcase their skills at a higher level.
So voting is easy. You buy a Carling Black Label, right, which you would be doing anyway because it's Africa's most award-winning beer. You cannot get a better beer for any amount of money, right? People who don't agree about anything are like, yeah, no, Carling's the best beer. It's just like, so go buy a beer and then follow the instructions on the pack. It's a star 120 star 660 is the little USSD code. Then you enter your string. There's a unique code in the underliner of the tab or in the crown of the bottle. Enter that code, easy as that, and you enter, right? You can then choose a player. Every 3 votes, you get a bonus vote. You can win some airtime. We're just adding lots of good stuff into this campaign. We had more than 200,000 individual people go and vote for their champion team. So it just shows you that there is not only huge passion behind South African rugby, but that South African fans, like, they've got a point of view, right? They want to see different players in their team. They might want to see different combinations, and they want to hero the champions that they see every weekend on the TV. We know that there's huge support for rugby in the Eastern Cape, and we've seen some fantastic electric players come from the Eastern Cape. So we are taking the Carling Champions match to Nelson Mandela Bay, and we want to fill that stadium with as many people as we possibly can.
Players for the exhibition encounter will be chosen from all 7 Carling Currie Cup Premier Division unions.
Obviously, firstly, the honour to be voted in by the fans, and I'm sure it was most of the guys from the Faithful, because I think we probably have the best fans.
It's a good opportunity for us, for the young guys. It's a great platform to show your talent, and yeah, we just try and take it in our stride and use every opportunity that we can to the best of our ability.
It's awesome playing in Nelspruit, especially for the people they're passionate about rugby. So going out there and seeing the joys in the faces when we play makes it so special. And it's not so much about our performances as players, but just seeing the faces of the fans really passionate about rugby makes it special.
And it's one thing to play for the Currie Cup, you know, it's such a traditional, special trophy for South Africans. Now you get rewarded past that now, you know, with the votes and getting in the dream team, you know. I know he's definitely going to be there because he's got his own campaign in the format, you know.
We love to play for the fans. That is the Cheetah's brand of rugby for years now. If the fans are there, we can inspire.
Springbok legend Beestam Tawarira is excited about the match.
So this is something that just really brings the fans to the center and the core, you know, and what they mean to rugby.
And those at the core of it, being the fans, are super excited about the match.
Very, very excited. I love to see our players and the rest of the other players, the captains. Love it.
I think this event means a lot, especially to the supporters, that the supporters can know what is going on. Our players are our heroes, and we love them.
So, let's settle this once and for all. Who do you think should be in the championship team? You have 7 rugby unions to select from, provincial players. Who's your favorite fullback? Well, you will have to vote to get to see the exciting things. There'll also be fan parks for this, the Carling Championship match. Right here with SABC Sport, we'll take you on this innovative, incredible rugby match.
You should see Lawrence Apaka's Carling Championship 15. It is a beaut. Just like the rugby being dished out here, Heritage Rugby at its finest, 54-0. The side in blue, College Rovers are leading by. It has been an absolute try-feast in the first half. So we're just experiencing a couple of technical difficulties here with a feed from Kings Park in Durban. And what a first half we have had in this match. 54 unanswered points, Lawrence Apaka.
No, certainly I agree with you there, Udo. But I think now the key there for College Rovers to just sustain that discipline and that control will actually be great news for the coach to make sure that actually the game was not a fluke, but actually orchestration from the boardroom onto the playing pitch and for them to just execute to the best of their abilities.
Yeah, I think even our broadcast infrastructure's had enough. 8 tries in the first half. Let's wrap it up for the day. So just a quick little alert there that we're having some technical difficulties from the venue. But we were saying in the first match, It was College Rovers who lost 21-17 to the side who had just been promoted to the top division in the Moore Cup, Westville Old Boys. And then just a week ago, a couple of days ago, were 94-5 winners in round 2 against Richards Bay. So it's a side that has fantastic potential. They're defending champions, of course, of the Moore Cup. And today, just showing their potential against an inferior team.
No, certainly, I think they underestimated the newcomers. They probably flexed too much. They're thinking that it's just going to happen on its own. They were actually shown flames just to actually reminding them again, listen, at the end of the day, it's not who you are, what you are about, it's but what you do on the day that you're required to show up. And I think that was the biggest wake-up call they could have asked for. But since then, it seems like it's like a thunderstorm. Every opponent that comes against them, and they're actually bulldozing out of the way. And they're making sure they do it in actually frantic style. Because at this point in time, they're looking super good.
Well, if you're wondering why we're not being treated to the footage from this match, there is a technical issue. We've lost the feed coming in from the shadow of the big Kings Park Stadium, of course, where this match in the Moore Cup is underway. But as soon as we are able to go back to the venue, we will do that. But I tell you what, there were some fantastic tries scored in the first half that Lawrence Sapaka will be well worth a look at. And if we're not able to get to the venue for the live match, after the break, we'll have a look back at those 8 tries scored by College Rovers.
Greatest Dancer Studio.
Dancers from all over the country, of any age or dance style, are getting ready for the biggest audition of their lives. And it starts here, in the Greatest Dancer Studios. But this is an audition and a studio like no other.
Welcome back to the live pictures here from Kings Park 3, where it's the Impies in white battling bravely here to get themselves back into the match. What a tackle that is by Sien Maduna on man who's just come onto the field, and Nklakanipo Matonsi. So already we've seen a couple of changes made here to the side because they've been beaten all ends up in the first half by the defending champions in the Moore Cup. So 54-0, the scoreline remains from the time that we lost transmission from the venue. Crowd in full cry here, and not surprising because they have been treated to some devastating running rugby by the men in blue. That man in shot, he's got himself a hat-trick already. Duran Kramek.
Duran Kramek certainly wouldn't be happy with that kind of pass that he gave there. I mean, if they're going to play like that in the second half, certainly it's going to be the shade of what they were doing in the first half, because that's actually very bad. What he received actually not pass from his fullback, and then that was actually very poor, which has been very clinical in the first half. So this is going to be the difference, that we're going to get the same treatment or not, because it's basically just discipline and actually keeping composure in your simple basics. And at the moment here, they're trying to actually rush things, and they're trying to maybe do things that they're not supposed to do. In the beginning, they actually had structure. Ino was getting him in the right places. They were playing on the front foot. But now to start on the back foot like that, when they're so close to the try line, they didn't get capitalized. And the first half, they didn't make mistakes like that. So I hope that they didn't have too many oranges here. That makes them a bit heavy in terms of how their processes are working.
Now, Kramek was, in fact, a little bit lucky there to just get away with the scrum eventually against them. Took the ball after that tackle by his opposite number, I think it was Sikulele Sukela, and threw it straight in his face in front of the referee.
No, certainly indeed. I mean, he was lucky, because if the chase was as good as the kick, maybe something would have come out of that effort, because that was reckless there from the men in blue to actually get away with all the scrum here. Let's see if the scrum does a bit of changes. The tight head is out, and obviously Matthew Deirdricks is actually on the field. Let's see if they're putting pressure over that ball. Channel 1 is actually still a play to play. and they manage to get, but we're getting with the left shoulder. With at this point in time, they get lucky and they keep the ball. And the outside center take his advantage, and he breaks the line through. Unfortunately, decided not to hold on here, giving the ball back to College Rovers. And College Rovers, they're gonna get back on that horse and actually go back to their basics, go back to the strategy that they started with, playing the right side of the field. And this point in time, they want to run it from the own 22. So it's going to be very important now just to keep composure, but they're still looking for better angle. The captain, Marats, they actually gave it to Ini. Ini finds a bit of real estate on the left-hand side. Unfortunately, even Ini Khadebe, who was actually magical in the first half, is actually human to make a bit of mistakes as well. That ball was not pinpoint perfect, which is actually perfect for the attacking team, which is now this Impis are going to be thanking him very much to make sure that they need to get him right. I don't know what happened in that change room at the moment. The guys are in 6s and 7. It's like they got shell-shocked. I don't know if the half was too long, perhaps, in that rest period. But at this point in time, they seem like they're letting Impis right back into the zone where they actually need to attack.
All right, slightly different front row for UKZN in the second half. Hlengun Klovu. Proppy's out. Lusanda Zondi's come onto the park. Sibuyile Kabule had a bit of a torrid time in the first half. He's been replaced by Lindokuhle Zondi. And in the meantime, it is Gerardo Jars who's just used his pace and made a mockery once more of the Impis defense. Try time again, and it's only taken 7.5 minutes in the second half.
Yeah, certainly I can see that man leading from the front. I mean, the little talisman, little scrum out there, making just to shake things up again, just to get guys right on the side. He needs to talk to them to make sure that they keep to basics and actually do the things right. And obviously just show them how it's done. Just get his 5 pointers, but just giving Ine just an angle as well to work with from the left-hand side of the corner. It's just outside the 5-meter line, in between the 5 and the 15, which I don't think should be an issue for a man who can kick like this. I'm sure he was slightly disappointed with that one kick he gave, but he would want to get back on that confidence booster that he's actually been leaving off in the first half.
Looking for his 8th conversion today. 16 points in the game, Ini Khadebe. And he, I'm afraid, misses that one to the left this time. So changes made. What impact will it have? So far, not much. As we see a clean pair of heels being shown yet again there by that man, Gerardo Jars, and he was chased down by Kobani Ngomalo. Man who, as I said, is on paper a 77-kilogram winger.
No, certainly doesn't look like a man. A man that looked like 77, it is a captain himself, Marit. Which is certainly does look like he weighs about 77 and change at this point in time. Let's see if the Impis are going to get back on that streak that they started with today.
Fine, man.
Brennan over the ball. Ini Khadebe with one that just comes off the side of his boot. But fortune to the man who's been in fine form. Pico Sobatlis chased that down. And now it's Jars with a little box kick over the top.
Sometimes they call it when you got too much time. You're thinking of your next move. You think of what you're going to do. Unfortunately, you forgot about the most important thing, the ball that is still coming your way from the way of Amachukuchukuini, and the fullback actually was found wanting and actually looking after that ball. Siangoba, Zuma, they're just spilling it, and obviously to the delight of the real scrum of UKZN Ruben van Bragden. Actually, thank you very much. He's going to have a scrum that, and with obviously wholesale changes, the whole front row has been replaced. Why not, if the scoreboard is like this, give your big man a rest? Maybe that's why there's a bit of break in influence at the moment, because guys are still need to find themselves. They're not warming up yet. Maybe they didn't warm up in that half before they actually come back on.
From the back of the scrum to the scrum half, who then switches it across the field here. And as simple as you like. Try time once more.
Yeah, certainly here, these guys actually having a field day, and every opportunity that comes, and the fullback is going to take it as well. Remember, it's probably one of the fire makers in the first half, who probably hasn't been on a scoreboard. Now having his chance,
Shane
and actually
Ball
taking it very well.
He's added the 5 points here. Just rounding off a really good move. A man from Westville. Attended Westville Boys High. And still studying at Varsity College, BCom Finance and Accounting. But he's been through the hands of the Sharks under 21 side. Spent some time with the Southwestern District Eagles as well between 2019 and 2021. They call him Gazelle. He certainly is a graceful runner. Ruben van Blerk has a chance to give Ini Khadebe a break and add to the points tally that has been amassed here with some ferociousness by the men in blue. First kick for him, and it's a successful one. And now van Blerk, the substitute fly-off, he's on the board as well. $66-0 in the second half. And you just feel that even with the changes made, we've seen a couple of scrums so far in the second half. Those changes have not really shown any bench impact as yet. And it's just amazing how this Rovers side, every time they get the ball, they just run it at will from any position on the park, really.
Yeah, unfortunately, that good counteract that actually threw on the College Rovers, that was very good, but unfortunately, the high tackle before that was a bit problematic. And then obviously, Prenke is going to like that. Thank you very much. Van der Berg is going to actually send them packing. I'm sure he's going to have a few meters added to that. It's just over the 10-meter line. So I'm sure the lineup might be taken just outside or inside the 10-meter line of the Impies. Look at that scoreline. A very flattering scoreline for College Rovers. But I wonder if Impies are feeling any shame, or they feel a bit of a letdown in somehow. But if anything to go by, I mean, they should really look at their basics. That's what the biggest letdown for them at the moment, unable to convert anything.
It's been another area of difference between these two sides. The line-outs on this occasion, though, oh my goodness, that was a nasty tackle. It was almost a clash of heads there.
Deal with this. Just put the ball down.
It was Mesuli Mwango went in in a very high position in that tackle.
You've landed on the neck. It's a high level of danger. Has to be a yellow card. Okay.
Not surprised there by the words of referee Blake Beattie.
Well, if you probably get this on slow play, I think this was on the chest area, and he actually, because he's a tall man and a tall man dipping, you're feeling the danger that basically high risk, high reward. That's the kind of situation you're going to get yourself into there. And that's a yellow card. Is actually rightly so. Was very close to red, because there was, from his side, there was not really an effort of going lower. Why do they tap and go and say, oh, lineouts have been bad?
Well, there we go. This is probably the best run they've had all afternoon, and it's come through Ngomani Ngomalo. This is enterprising here from the Impies. Sprayed out wide. Lovely little run and dummy there by Gakula Poswa. So numerical advantage at the moment to the Impies with the sending off of Mesuli Mwango. But they're not going to make it count on this occasion. Starting fly-off, Diego Dinsi losing the ball in contact there.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're not having any protectors whatsoever, and they're not controlling the ball himself as a general, and then had to do that uncomfortable thing, running to a big bunch of big forwards, and he came second best. Then unfortunately, he didn't dominate the contact, and that was actually in the defensive favor. I mean, in favor of defenders and their feet. Like, they don't even need a fetcher, because the tackler just did it himself.
You know, we had a chance, of course, Lawrence, a couple of weeks ago to watch this College Rovers side as they travelled up to the Highveld to take on the might of Pretoria in the Easter Rugby Festival, the World Sports Betting Easter Rugby Festival that we enjoyed with a final at Loftus a couple of weeks ago. And they were underdone, undercooked in that tournament. A far cry, not only in terms of the way that they played over Easter, but also the personnel that they're employing today. Big difference.
Certainly, yeah, with the big force that they have, they thought they would have a better outing, but they met guys who were actually well prepared, who actually playing the conditions much better, and they were just found to be just undercooked, as you were saying. Maybe they were still busy with their pre-season sort of pre-games and stuff like that, but usually it happens. Guys are a bit rusty. I mean, they haven't played rugby in a long time, and it's early days, and they're not as fit as well. But after that, there's been obviously some sort of readjustment and resorting in the whole team.
Jersey number 18 belongs to Matthew Dedricks. He beds down on the side of the scrum as flanker. Man who used to play for the KZN Impies a couple of years ago. He's now with College Rovers, and the ever-present sight of Pico Sobatle, just standing off the action there. He's always in the thick of things. Very good tackle there by Daniel Bawoto.
Still penalty advantage.
Penalty advantage, as you hear there. Nice little dink over the top by Gakula Poswa.
Hard tackle, number 11, blue.
And now they will have that penalty.
11 blue.
Was Pico Sobatle who's been penalized.
Yeah, certainly just a bit of breakage in terms of fluency and flow. A bit of lack in, well, also a bit of more in creeping of ill discipline. And maybe they feel like these guys can't kick, so let's give penalties wherever we can.
Hasn't been an attempt at goal this afternoon, has there? In fact, there was one early in the first half, and that was missed by Dinzi.
No, he tried to catch it though, so it's just a knock on. He did try to catch it. Genuine attempt to catch.
Yeah, certainly College Rovers here are running record and at ease at the moment, and I'm sure they don't mind scrumming either, although the scrum has been pretty sort of not so far greater than the lineups were at the moment. I mean, the first half they're much better, but the second half I think Impies really stood their ground whatsoever, and the replacement hasn't really continued with that momentum that the first starters, the first front row was actually giving them. The guys of Dedricks, Leche and Pina need to really re-establish themselves as a force if they want to compete for that starting berth of the 1, 2 and 3.
Yeah, it's round 3 match here for College Rovers. Certainly looks like they'll get off to a campaign of 2 wins and a loss. It's only a round 2 match for UKZN, who opened up with a 36-5 loss to Durban Collegians. So they're going to make it 2 losses in a row here. That's almost a given. The major question is, how many more points can be added by College Rovers?
No, leave it. You can't reach over your
Good work there by Dedricks, who started off that move and was there quick in support. Now a little step on the inside here by Van Blerk, and he's trapped in possession, but the support is there for him, and Jars just bundled off the ball as if it was there to be played by his opposite number, Johan Maritz. My goodness, the forwards are going to have a word with the captain here of the Impies. That was impudent.
No, certainly frustration peeping through them, and I obviously feel like the scrum have touched it, but unfortunately you can touch it, but if it doesn't lift it up, it's still not out. And they didn't dummy either, so just shooting the gun there and just giving himself into more trouble, and the team needs a bit of a break, and that break is not going to come anytime soon by the look of things. And obviously spectators treated to a lovely rugby match. I wonder who they're supporting.
I think these are UKZN supporters who have no other choice really but just to be in full cry. Let the Guijo do the talking, because the rugby by the home team is not. Lovely take there by College Rovers.
You touched him in the air.
Yeah, you cannot impede the man in the air. You can contest for the ball.
That was actually not even a touch, it was more like a pull down. Listen, hurry up, I want to collapse this thing. But you can only pull him down when he hits the ground. Unfortunately, they're just getting it wrong. But obviously, if you get it, they do want to come out there empty-handed. Saturday did come out with something, a penalty against him. And obviously spectators are enjoying the moment. Cooler bags so pretty halfway there, because we've gone halfway already. I'm sure it's halfway full as well at this point in time.
Stay 9, stay 10, eh?
That's stripped away here by the Impies. They're on the back foot though through their captain, who scragged and taken out the side. That was he out ball and all. That is the question. Touch judge says no. Lovely carrier by Matthew Diedrichs. Ah, that was a pass just begging to go to hand. Yes, it was low. And it was off the hands there of Sibulelo Nanto.
Nanto would have certainly scored there, because the way he snuck up on that ball, even the ball got shocked. And unfortunately unable to gather it and regather, because no one saw him coming. The flanker there, I'm sure he will be willing to impress as well. At this point in time, another opportunity for a scrum for College Rovers to put pressure on the Impies. I mean, the Impies have really been so confident in their efforts that the big man Keegan Anderson is still on the field doing his start, but obviously Lucid making sure that continues. I mean, they should get a penalty here if they keep it in, and they certainly did that.
Yeah, that was a good scrum. Nice little dink over the top here. Falls kindly as well for Dincy, but he just cannot control it.
Put it down.
Fortunately for them, will still be their advantage.
Yeah, and yeah, but Dincy, they're trying a slight chip and chase. I mean, he's got a free card to play anything he likes. I mean, he's got an advantage. Why not? And almost gathered as well. Unfortunately, just the height let him down there, because he couldn't get it. Got it on by the fingertips, and he was struck down at the same time as well. So another opportunity gone with the captain. But more than happy to get there, but his worry is going to be the next thing, which is the line-out has really been poor. Something is like they've never trained, or the hooker doesn't spend enough time doing his own individual exercises, because that's all it is. I mean, if the hooker's still on, and I told you the first time, maybe they don't have another one to replace him with. Let's see if he gets this one straight. But they should simplify the option as well. Give him the front one, he doesn't go that far. Oh, God, Sam.
Yeah, it's been a poor area for the Impies today, one that coach Jason Olifant will have to take an earnest and serious look at with these players. Knock on in the process as well, and it's advantage to Rovers. The one thing that the Impies will be happy about, Sapaka, Mr. Lawrence Sapaka, is that in the first half, Rovers were scoring at an average of 1.25 points per minute. They've only scored 12 in the first 23 minutes of the second half, so they've stemmed some of that momentum at least. It's still not pretty, but at least they've been able to do that.
Or it could simply mean that College Rovers has just taken the pedal of a foot of the pedal, and because I mean the reinforcement of new players, they probably need to establish themselves. I mean, if he kept on the other pack, they probably would have wanted to start it like that.
Good carrier by Miller. Lovely interplay here. It's Vanelezwane with that big carry there. Substitute scrum off Daryl Brunk on the field, and he looks as lively as Gerardo Jars did in the first half. They certainly deploy. They get quick possession to their sides.
Well, the ref calls it a knock-on, but it moves like a smash and grab there from near Mkonazi, because he is opposite number. That can be water there, just in terms of trying to bounce him over, actually handed him the ball and ripped it out of him like it is really nothing. Unfortunately, unable to turn it into something fruitful, but I've got advantage of a scrum, which one part as well. The scrum has really been operating on such a strange level. Sometimes they're on, sometimes they're off. But I think the last scrum they had actually got a penalty, from which I mean they've realized that the replacement is not as good as the starters from College Rover. Let's see if they're going to continue with that.
Just on the player, Lochnium Kwanazi for UKZN. Amongst these three names, his parents thought it good to also give him the name of Patriarch. So I'm not quite sure if he was born to be a dad from that perspective, but Patriarch Neum Kwanazi The man with the rather exotic nickname of Undertaker as well.
That's confusing children right there.
You can see Rovers look hungry here. Will be their ball now, because Jan Maritz should have put that ball into the scrum. Now marauding play here by the men in blue. Unfortunately, just a handling error. Look promising. So advantage now to the Impies. It is that man, Mkwanazi. Patriarch Mkwanazi. A little knockdown there by Kaniso Majola. He's come on the park as a second half substitute.
Same as earlier.
But they'll go to back to that original infringement.
Yeah, sitting there was a sharp angle that they took in there. Unfortunately, not holding on to the ball. I mean, the spectators just enjoying a bit of Guijo there. I don't know if other spectators are enjoying the Guijo more than the rugby, but you can see the spirits are pretty high. The weather's agreeing, why not? I mean, it is a Saturday afternoon, supposed to be like a relaxation, a bit of leisure, out of office, and some people are still in office, but like I said, those ones that are there are really certainly enjoying themselves.
Listen, man, we had a month together, Lawrence Apaka, of gale force winds in the Eastern Cape as we got to the end of Super Rugby there, and a magnificent final. Now all eyes on the rugby in the Moore Cup in KZN. And we treated to a fantastic display so far today by the defending champions, College Rovers. That's lovely play using the advantage. Matthew Dedricks through and over the try line. Former UKZN player scores for College Rovers.
Yeah, I think that man doesn't look like he's been scrumming much, but that explains why Impi's scrum has been good. I mean, it's because he's good at ball in hand in an open play. Certainly looked like a loose forward there when he was actually running there. Matthew Dedricks, a beautiful try indeed from the big man. That being said, his fellow front rower, Kuku Nelani there, he's really been struggling since he got on, because, I mean, that's the penalties, I mean, he's been giving away. He doesn't really engage his opposite number. Instead, he's taking the hit. But I think there'll be some reinforcement in terms of that decision that I made about changing, giving others a break. But it's costing them now. It's costing them continuity, and he's messing around with the points difference.
Yeah, I reckon if you put 95 on the board a week ago, you can afford just to cruise down the coastline a little bit in third gear. But I get you fully. It's all about what happens at the end of the tournament. And every point counts. That's a good conversion there by Van Blerk to add the 2.
Yeah, beautiful kick in there from Blerk. I think him and Ini probably some competitions in the week when they actually go through those kicks as well. I mean, most of those guys understand there's actually guys who played in the Varsity Shield. So UKZN supporters, we're absolutely right there. But they'll probably be disappointed what's happening here. That's why instead of actually sulking, they decided to find another tune to excite themselves as well. But that being said, rugby at the end of the day, regardless who's winning, you got to appreciate what these guys can do on a normal afternoon.
Can you imagine if the Impies can find some points here? By hook or by crook or any other means necessary. That looked a tad forward, but it's Dedricks, the scorer of the last try, with a good carry there. Substitute scrum off. And now a lovely little ball inside to Shane Ball. The referee saying he should have let that one go. Ruck formed. It's a nice little pop pass there by Keegan Anderson, the man who's probably worked the hardest of all the Impies this afternoon. All right, it's to Anderson. Lovely pass to Dinsey, but the hands have let him down. Good fight for the ball there by Dedricks. And a carry to boot as well. That's going to be stripped. Muller was there in support. Brunk on the ball now. Gets it out quickly. And a pass just behind Ryan van Blerk there.
19 side entry, 19 side entry.
19 stole the ball from Impies. And this is 19 side entry. I was like, huh? What is it talking about? But obviously clearly sighted of the other entry cleaning there from College Rovers. Not very clinical. Looking for John's gate, but ended up finding the one's neighbor. Unfortunately, that one gave a penalty away and giving Impies an opportunity
On the line.
in the 22. A rare occasion for them to be in the 22. But the captain is probably stressing as he's walking there. We need to find a plan. Our lineouts have really been poor. I mean, it's all mostly from the hookers throw. Once or twice, maybe bad support, bad option taking. Why don't they do a short man lineout? Don't even jump, just throw to the man standing, but make sure it's over the 5-meter line, because I'm sure College Rovers wouldn't be expecting that as well.
So you're not going to get me started on lineouts, where for a whole month in windy conditions, hookers were still trying to throw crazy passes or crazy lineouts to the back of those lineouts, and once again, over elaboration and ball stripped.
Play on, he hits it back. His last touch was
Yeah,
backwards.
it's their ball, it's gone backwards. Lovely crisp pass there. Pico Sobatle back on the inside now. Muller with the ball and out wide there. To
Ball was out.
act like Splonananto.
Yeah, we're talking about lineouts. Here there's nothing. I can't even think of wind, because it must just create a bit of a buff. But at the moment, just poor.
A bit of what?
A buff. Because at this point in time, the hooker has really been poor. It's really been poor. And obviously the concern is for me, they don't have a replacement. Because at this point in time, any coach in his right mind would have made a plan. And obviously, I think this is one place where he gets out his frustrations, because he knows one area where he actually can dominate as much as he like. He can actually try to get his ball back. I don't think College Rovers had practiced their channel once, the way they were cruising in the first half. They probably need to work harder, because their replacement, a player 23, Nelani, he needs to actually make sure that, they're lucky.
The ball came out.
The ref is absolutely right. The ball came out the mouth and went back in.
How unfortunate, how unfortunate that was. It was such a good set and a good scrum here by the men in white.
Yeah, gents. Yeah, we go.
They don't agree with the ref. Because they felt they were going forward. Then they must blame the Lucies, because the Lucies were sleeping on the job.
Yeah.
And then obviously rightly so, the ball was kicked. Remember, the hook is trying to hook, and the pressure is mounted on them. Obviously 600 kilometers an hour, and they can't actually get that ball back. He kicked it instead. Let's see if this scrum is going to be wise.
Typical front row,
Channel
blaming
one
the flankers for the kind of footwork that would let that ball out. But now it's Rovers on the attack. Out wide, and what a run that is. He won't get a hand on him. Second try of the afternoon, easy as you like.
Certainly poor decision making in defense there, because they had numbers, and then for whatever reason, they didn't decide who's going to take the fullback. And by the time they were thinking about it and having a cup of tea, and the fullback was like, no, thank you very much, ball, I'm going to take this ball right underneath the poles and make sure that my own kick, or is it him who's kicking? Yes, my kick is actually simplified as well. Just converted, made it a 7-pointer. Beautifully done.
No, it is, in fact, Van Blerk who gets the 2 points there off that try from the man they call the Gazelle. Another dainty, smart, and then eventually powerful run from Shane Ball, the fullback, to make it 80 up without response for College Rovers. 12 tries to 0. The scoreboard tells you all you need to know.
There's only one side on this field currently, but unfortunately, all those efforts that tight 8 is putting in is really coming to no effect, because Sam dropped it cold. As one thing I must say though, that the little fly has done well. Dinzi, his kickoff has actually been something of a spectacular. He started very slow, but it built it up quite nicely. But as one highlight, I think he should really take home here, because anything else, I mean, even the big men, Keegan Anderson, they showed a bit of a smooth handling skills. That is like in the fly couldn't even handle that ball from him, which was sympathetic enough. Let's see now if they can milk a penalty via the scrum, because they're in total control, the Impies. Unfortunately, the scrum have needed to be stabilized. And they actually does do channel 1. Oh, surprise, surprise.
Soxokela with a good carry. They're into the 10-meter area, yeah.
Ripped.
But it's ripped away, and legally so, and now they can launch an attack. It's Matthew Diedrichs. He's got a try this afternoon already. Passes it out to a man with a hat-trick on the field this afternoon, Durang Kramik. Still their ball.
First knock on by Blue.
But, we'll go back for that infringement.
Yeah, the big man has been in the thick of things, I must say, though. I mean, he's been all over the park. It doesn't look like a proper bowling, and unfortunately it got exposed. He hasn't practiced on those chicken wing passes of his, because that's what he needed, a bit of a basketball hook pass that didn't go to hand. But it would have been an unexpected, a wonderful thing to see him playing a bit in the open rugby. And I'm sure the impies now, UKZN, need to get something right here, man. I mean, that scrum before was not that stable. I don't know if they're getting too nonchalant. I mean, look at that. Unfortunately, the back pass there, not going to hand, but the idea should have just given to the closest guy to him instead of the furthest one. Let's see if he can do his core jobs much better there.
I'm going to sing the praises there of Wingan Ngumalo on defense has been good. But yeah, Dr. Scrum, take us through this one.
No, certainly that scrum is actually rolling. And the Tata is doing his thing in number 8, taking full advantage with advantage to play. Why not? I mean, they really need some spectacle, need some spark here, because they've really been putting it down the whole day. And I think another advantage.
Did go back. In fact, referee says advantage to Rovers. And now the field opens up superbly. Lovely little pass to Pico Sobatle, but he's got a foot in touch. Really good work by Sipulelo Nanto to get it to Sobatle.
Stop, it's been touched.
And he just ran out of space. That would have been a fantastic little 1-2 for a try.
And that actually I agree with you, Udo. That was beautiful, but even better, I think Ngumalo, the right wing, 71 kilogram times 2. Certainly taking 2 men there, all in one. And he didn't even do much on the second attempt, because, I mean, that man was literally out tipping tongue. But that chicken wing was actually something out of the archives.
It's been entertainment of the highest order. Minute and a half left. Your side is down 80-0. For the players who've been on for the bulk of these 78 minutes, they need to dig deep. This man needs to find one good line-out throw today. It's been contested again, thankfully. Bob's out on the side of the team in white. Back foot ball here.
No, leave it. Wait.
It's Maritz for the touch finder. And he doesn't find it, but it's off the hands of Nwango.
Couldn't believe his luck as well. The ball came so easy. Ball didn't go out. He was thinking about 100 things all in one. Unfortunately, number 8, just laughing about it. I mean, when the score ball look like that, no one will even give you a grief about it. It was just a simple mistake. But this man has been in the thick of things. Neom Kwanazi there, he's been really trying everything. Look at this. I mean, that's a thing. At any day, I think at a crucial time, we needed to control it. He looked up and sized up his options. Unfortunately, I said there's a number 16 on, but the hooker still on. I think is probably going into the locking or flanking position to come assist the scrum. That's actually been doing well. Oh, lolo, what's going on now with the impies?
No, it was a forward pass first. Forward pass.
Yeah, the handling just going awry here late in the game. One side feels they've done more than enough, the other one demoralized, and eventually it is referee Blake Beattie. Just brings it all to an end here.
Well done, James.
After that eventual kick out there by Muller.
Well done, James. Well done, Tati. Well done, eh?
But a resounding victory following up a 94-5 win over Richards Bay. College Rovers win this one 80-0 in favor of the Rovers side over the UKZN Impies. That man, Jared Crouch, will be a very proud captain. 2 resounding victories in a row as the defending champions get their campaign back on track after losing their opening round encounter. You'll be proud.
No, certainly we'll be proud. I mean, 80 minutes, we certainly got 80 points to actually add from. And the stats really haven't moved much. Only one-sided. I mean, territory remains the same. Only thing that was ticking up is the scoreboard, 12 tries, and obviously with 12 converted, which is a very good conversion rate as well.
And it's not often we get to see 12 unanswered tries in Heritage Rugby. That's how close the matches have been that we featured here in this fantastic club rugby platform. Brought to you by SABC Sport with our partners SEI Sport. And from all of us, have yourselves a terrific week. We've had another great day of rugby, club rugby at its finest here in South Africa. Goodbye.
Greatest Dancer Studio.
Dancers from all over the country, of any age or dance style, are getting ready for the biggest audition of their lives. And it starts here, in the Greatest Dancer Studios. But this is an audition and a studio like no other. Because voting from behind the mirror is an audience deciding their fate. Can the dancers win 75% of their vote and open the mirror? The Greatest Dancer, Sunday 6:30, only on 2.
I now declare the show open.
Fridays on SABC2.
You have to go and visit Bruce Lee's grave. You have to go past, and just give him a young, Chinese chop the tombstone.
I can't believe it.
Laughs are quick.
Melanie, is it Dubois or Dubois?
It's Dubois, friend.
It's Dubois?
Yes.
Because I knew the S was silent, but I didn't know if the boy was going up or down, so it's Dubois.
And to the point of order.
Tuck shops in Somalia, ma'am, they ban them. That's why they're here now. Just giving us the overflow of tuck shops.
There's no winning team on this one, sadly.
Point of Order, Fridays 7:30.
It is finally time. Welcome to the 2022 W Series in Miami, presented by Hard Rock. W Series returns for a thrilling third season with new drivers, new teams, but the same goal. Use the platform on the Formula One Grand Prix weekend to advance beyond this, further up the motor racing ladder, and ultimately end Formula One's long wait for a female superstar. What a location we have, and